If this is your first time, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. If you want to find out more information about us, go to dfwmobile.net in your web browser, or find us at dfwmobile on Twitter. We are on Meetup, so all of our meetings are announced there. If you will join the group, you'll get emails. Makes it pretty simple. I will be speaking to you tonight. If anybody else is interested in speaking to the group, make sure you email me and let me know. We're always looking for speakers. I'm president of the group and Xamarin MVP. I also work for a company called Infinity Interactive. If you have any questions after the meeting about this presentation or about Infinity, email me or tweet me on Twitter. A little bit about Infinity. We're a software IT consulting company. We're 100% virtual. So that means we have people everywhere. Yeah, that area has gotten a lot bigger. I need to update that. But we do software consulting from Xamarin to Perl to Node to anything else that you can pretty much think about. So a little bit, this is our talk tonight. We're going to discuss WWDC. But feel free to interject. This is kind of a talk, an interactive talk, not a presentation per se. So if you have questions or input, let me know. Just don't everybody talk at once. Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to have a lot of input. So what's new? So we've got new things in all of these different areas. OS X, Watch OS, tvOS, and iOS 10 is now being released in fall. So let's dig into this. One of the big announcements, I don't really think it's big, but they called it big. They renamed OS X to Mac OS to match the other ones, because on this you've got watchOS, tvOS, and iOS, right? So it only makes sense to have Mac OS. Some of the things that were announced were Metal for developers. This is for graphics, GPU, multi-threading, shading. It's supposed to be very performant. Swift 3. One of the interesting things that a lot of people have commented about WWDC is oh wait, we have one more thing at the end, was announced, was the Swift Playground. If you aren't familiar with it, the Swift Playground will let you do stuff on the iPad with Swift, which is cool, new. Apple's kind of had this belief that you shouldn't have code compile on a tablet. Is it just for the Pro, or is it for iPad as well?
I believe it's on all of them.
Okay. So if you're interested in learning Swift, if you want your kids to learn Swift, you might introduce them to this. I didn't get any screenshots of it. One of the other things that I noticed that was a big deal at WWDC is most of the presentations were done in Swift, all of the demos. So Apple's really adopting it. It's not just a fad that's going to go away.
So it's supposed to take over from Objective-C, right?
Yes, it's.
You're going to deprecate that soon at some point.
Yeah, at some point I do not see them supporting Objective-C.
I'd say it's probably going to be about 10 years before that fully gets deprecated. But
yeah. So Swift is a pretty good language. I haven't sat down to learn it myself. I've looked at it. Knowing C# though, and looking at the demos in Swift, it's pretty easy to understand. In fact, it's easier to understand than Objective-C. So definitely check it out. The main thing that I think that they announced, well, I think the biggest thing they announced for Mac OS is Apple Pay for the web. So what that allows you to do in Safari on Mac OS, it allows you to use Apple Pay over the internet. And that's enabled by using Touch ID on your phone or with double click on your watch, Apple Watch. Have you seen that at all?
It's not, the individual websites have to adopt it in order for it to work.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to write special code to adopt it. It's not just going to be adopted overnight. One of the other things that was announced was picture-in-picture. So if you're watching a video in Safari, you can put it in your PIP. I don't know, it's been on TVs for a while. It's not something that I thought was incredibly useful, but on the computer it might be. So if you're doing like a tutorial video or something, you can just pop the video out there and then play in your IDE or follow along while you're writing the examples, working with the examples. It does require you to do that in Safari. It's not supported by Chrome. So
Actually, I've been sort of impressed with Safari here lately in the last few revisions of things.
I hear web developers complaining about Safari a lot. It's usually the last to adopt stuff.
I'm having things actually work.
Yeah, it's Mac. We're talking Mac here, Bill. That's kind of cool. I could see a lot of use for that. Get rid of that Chrome around the browser if you want to watch a video.
That also works on iOS on iPad now, right now, actually, too.
Does it work on iPad or iPad Pro or both?
It works, I believe it works on both, but I believe you have to have like an A7 or higher in order for it to work.
Okay, so you have to have an A7 or higher. A few honorable mentions that were on the website for WWDC is the contact integration. I don't know many people write Mac apps that are Mac apps. Safari extensions for Mac Apple Store, App Store. So you can actually buy extensions in there or get free extensions through the App Store. And then the live photo editing API, which did they say anything about on that in the keynote?
They mentioned it, but it's a big thing for live photos because it's right now, photos as they exist now, if you were to edit any of your photos, a copy of the original is kept. But if it's a live photo, the moment you edit it, you actually lose everything. So I would imagine this is going to allow you to edit the video as well as the photo within a single instance and be able to keep that persistent.
Cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about, and by a little bit I mean a lot. So there was a lot going on with watchOS. I don't know how much adoption for watchOS is happening. There's a lot of people who like watchOS very much, and then there's some people who think that they don't know what to do with it. Judging by the keynote, I don't know about the actual performance, but it does look like they've improved it a lot. Their key focuses were on performance and navigation. They added a dock, which has glances. Basically, they took the glances and that's the dock. And these are updated quite frequently. So your app inside the dock will actually have a more recent update, which is kind of useful in things like, I can't zoom on this, can I? Okay. It'd be kind of useful when, things like arrival time and stuff like that. All right. Where's my cursor? Okay. So they updated the background app refresh, or actually added it, so that apps are actually kept in memory. And you don't have to write anything new to adopt this. This is going to work with your existing app for the Apple Watch. And this applies to the user's favorite apps and all of the apps inside the dock. So let's see here. They have a new API for though. If you want to update complications, update the app, or update what's called the snapshot. And snapshot is what you see inside the dock. And that resumes on the dock when you hover over it. So if you slide past it real fast, it doesn't update. But if you stop over it without activating the app, it will resume. And the snapshot also updates when you leave the app and when you dismiss a notification for the app. In addition to the iOS push notification updates, we're also going to see a bunch of updates for the notifications for watchOS. In fact, they're going to have local notifications on the watch itself instead of on your phone, which shows up on your watch and your phone. Now, you can still do both, but you can also specifically target a watch. You'll have different UI. You'll have options, more options for the UI. So the new enhanced APIs will be the background refresh. It's going to have scheduled updates, complication of push updates, and snapshotting. We're going to also have a workout API with a background runtime. Frontmost during workout and continuous sensor access. So before you would get like heartbeats in a bulk, and now you can get them continuously. So before you'd had to wait to get the heartbeat or the different information from the sensor, like the gyroscope. Tools to track the CPU and memory usage is also going to be available for the watch. So you're going to be able to pull up a window, and you're going to be able to see how your app is performing on the watch. So you know if you're going to use a lot of battery. That's really useful. You're going to have access to the crown through hardware events. They're going to add a bunch of new gestures, and you're going to have access to the gyroscope so you can like detect if it's moving and build your own workouts. Another thing is inline video playback. Before, when you do a video, it would pop out to a separate screen, but now you can actually do it inside your app without having to load a separate screen. You're going to be able to do autoplay. So if you have like a list of videos and you like stop over one of them, it can autoplay that one while the other ones aren't playing. And you're going to have Sprite Kit and Scene Kit, which is kind of useful if you want to like draw things instead of having to render that on the phone. So that's pretty cool. Hello, computer. So there's fitness in motion. You're going to be able to do your own fitness apps. I don't know. It's hard to figure out something useful for the watch app, for watch apps. I don't. It's hard to compete with the Apple's existing ones. And even if you do, you only add like a few features. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with this market. Has anybody messed with watch apps at all? Anything people have found useful on it?
I saw some sensors on Zeppelin side.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Right.
It's really centered around glances and getting quick bits of information without having to pull your phone out.
Right.
And really quick interactions. It's not meant to do any actual computing. It's more of a...
Well, they're moving more and more computing to it. You'll be able to update your app every like 20 minutes outside of those events.
Right, but that's so that when you pull up your wrist, the information is timely, as opposed to having to wait for the application to start and then for it to open up a connection, pull down the data, and then display it. The information will be more immediate.
Okay. Oh, you'll also be able to access the speaker audio and CloudKit. I read somewhere else you had inputs. I don't know, sound input, microphone.
Yes, you can do on-screen input to do kind of handwriting recognition on the screen, or you could actually speak and it'll actually take in the audio and process it for you.
Well, now as an app, you'll be able to access those APIs, which I don't believe you could before. And I think the biggest news is, dancing Minnie Mouse, which I think they should have had from the beginning, but So I think one of my biggest disappointments is that we won't be able to write our own watch faces. So maybe next release. They did announce a bunch of new watch faces for the activity app, and you can track your activity at a glance through the watch face. So if that's something you're into in health and fitness, so the tvOS, didn't seem to be that many innovations as compared to like iOS and such. It looks like they're moving kind of the Windows way, and they're allowing JavaScript and XML, which seems kind of scary to me. We'll see how that goes. You'll be able to create templates using XML for layouts, and then you'll have JavaScript APIs, which seems kind of weird for Apple since they're all Objective-C and Swift and native. I don't know how many people will use the XML and JavaScript successfully, but we'll see. There's
YouTube app that runs on the smart TVs. I think that's Java-based.
No.
It's just crossing the platform.
No, I don't think that's Java-based.
The smart TVs,
Although the smart TVs are running Android typically.
like some of the older ones, like Samsung's smart TV platform, is not run. There's like a standard, widely adopted framework, which I believe is running on top of Java for a lot of those.
Okay. It looks like there's a replay kit and photo kit and multi-peer connectivity to connect your iOS apps to the tvOS. So if you're going to have games or something and you want to be able to use the phone as a controller or something, you'll be able to do that. The replay kit allows you to live broadcast your gameplay. And then the photo kit lets you share your iCloud photo library with your apps. So if you wanted to have some kind of screensaver or something outside of the default one, you could do something with that. Anybody have a TV? Any of the newer TVs? Apple TVs? No. Yeah, you like it? I only have, what is it, the Gen 3? So not too fancy.
So you can, some of those sites have an app now, so you can watch those sites straight from the app.
Yeah, I could see a lot of potential for streaming services like Pluralsight. Yeah, we've already got like Hulu and YouTube and stuff like that, but also all the different TV broadcasting companies and
Games online.
yeah, but yeah, games and TVs or videos about all I see the potential for, because you don't want to do a lot of reading on the TV, and your interface is somewhat limited. I went to the Xamarin Evolve conference and went to one of the talks on it, and the controls are very interesting. So you have to have like a pathing for all of them. So whenever you like click right, you got to know which controller is next, or if you move up and down, you have to know which control you move to next in order to interact with it. So it's not like, you know, the iPhone or the desktop or anything like that, where you've got a mouse or you've got a touch screen or something like that. So it's kind of difficult to interact with it and create not a robust app, but more of a complex interactive app.
I don't think you'll see them going after like the Xbox market. It's more of the casual games market.
Yeah.
Bejeweled, I'm sure, runs really well on it.
Yeah, Bejeweled, Tetris.
Probably Farmville runs
Yeah.
on Champ.
Yep, Farmville.
No Pokemon Go, though.
No, you have to move for Pokemon Go. There's that whole Go in there. Who's playing Pokemon Go? Anybody? Okay. Well, if I would definitely recommend checking out that app for potential of what you can do with a device or an app. There's a lot of interesting ideas in there. Even if you're not interested in playing the game, it doesn't cost anything. It's definitely worth checking out. That's kind of what got me interested in it. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I think the biggest announcements were made for iOS 10 at WWDC. Certainly the most interesting ones. They opened up a lot of iOS. I mean, before they were kind of a closed system. You know, your app ran by itself. There was some interaction and some going on, some things going on like share and deep linking. But now they've expanded it a lot more of what you can do. As far as like the 3 systems or 4 systems, however you want to consider it, Android and Windows Phone, or UWP and Apple. Apple has always been the most closed. So Android, you've pretty much been able to do whatever you want, which unfortunately has led to a lot of security problems. They've gotten a lot better, but Apple's always been the tightest as far as what you can do with it and what features were available. So they've opened it across the board, opened it up a whole lot. One of the biggest and most important ones, I think, is the notifications. Before, you would just get a text message with a possible sound and then your app icon. I mean, it was really basic. Now they've opened it up that you can actually create your own UI. It does not allow you for direct user interaction with your custom UI. You have to use something basically similar to action sheets with the different buttons, or you can provide a text field to fill in and a button for that, or you can put buttons on the bar, and I'll show you where that is. They also added a lot of their own stuff, and I'll show it to you. Show you some of the stuff they're doing with notifications. Let's see here. It's in this. Okay. Hello, computer. Sorry, I upgraded to 10 today, and I'm a little not used to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He lives on the edge.
Well, iPhone updates of myself do not go well. I was somewhat of an early adopter, and back in the day, I bricked my phone a few times just doing an update. So, and I always wait like 2 or 3 months after the update was out before I updated. And hold on, there we go. All right, so there's my screen. This is actually my phone. So in case anybody's wondering, I'm not playing a video or a simulator. The blue bar at the top is not something new. It's just showing that I'm airplaying my screen. And Charles, could you send me a text if you would? All right. So it pops up with this screen, and right here it's allowing me to enter a reply by default. This is the default behavior for iMessage, so that you could fill in this text field. The other option would be is I could say, give myself multiple buttons to choose between, like reply, cancel, dismiss, whatever. And you have options to do what you want to do with that. So I can either dismiss the notification when I've done something, or I can leave it there and continue to interact with it. In order to do this, you would just implement a controller, inherit from a specific controller, and you have the UI kit at your service. The only thing that you have to worry about is this area up here. You can't interact with it, so I can't tap it or do anything with that. It just dismisses it. I don't know. Can you hit me again? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm not showing that yet. Yeah, see, it just dismisses it. So there's no swiping, scrolling, anything. There's no gestures. Okay. The other thing that, I haven't seen a lot of hard information on it. The other thing that is they're making available now is that before, when you'd have an app and you got a notification to it, you'd get an event, a triggered event in your app delegate, and you'd have to handle it and figure out how you want to display it to the user. You could do background updating or whatever you want with the notifications, but to display it to the user, you had to write your own user interface for that. Now they're allowing you the option to configure whether you want to display the message or not while the app is running, which is nice because I've written several apps where like I'm in the app and I want to know somebody's like interacting with something I've created, right? So there's like events and I want to know if people are coming to it. Well, if I'm in the app, I don't know, right? And I'm not going to see that when I get out of the app. So I have to update the UI myself. I have to show my own notification. I don't feel like that's a good user experience. I think that I should have a consistent user experience with the system notification at the top. If you've got a good example of this is if you're using iOS is Facebook. They have their own notifications pop down to show, like, it'll have a picture of the user and then, like, you know, where somebody's replied to your post, right? And I think that should be consistent. It should look like the system notifications. So they're going to allow that now, which is good. I haven't actually seen how to do that. So we'll see how that works. The next big update that they announced was Siri Kit. If you've done any work with Windows Phone, you know that you can do stuff with Cortana. I don't know what was available on Android as far as that. Basically, what you do is you have your own extensions. In this case, I don't know if you can see that. You say, get me a lift to SFO. When they demoed it during the keynote, it wasn't like really robotic where you had to like say the application name beforehand and then what you wanted that application to do. You could put it in there. One of the other examples was WhatsApp. So unfortunately, it seems like, though, from what I've read, is that it's limited to specific types of apps and what you can do with that. And from the Apple site itself, it says that it's support for messaging, photo search, and phone calls. But it'll also include such as ride booking and person-to-person payments. So I don't know how that's going to look when it comes out. But
They said they're going to expand the contexts that it supports over time.
so, okay. The other big part of this is they announced the speech recognition API, so you can have that in your app. I don't know exactly how it's going to work under the covers. I'm pretty sure they're going to have an internet connection, so you can't do it offline.
Yeah, because all that voice processing, all that stuff is like,
Yeah, everybody that's major vendor does it online. They don't put it on the phone because the phone.
They may do it locally. I think, I don't know if it's true, but I think they may be doing it locally if you're on certain hardware.
I don't know, there's a lot of processing that goes on. In fact, this thing right here, this Alexa does it all online too.
Yeah.
And they can put a bunch of hardware in there, right? And they don't simply because it takes so much stuff to get even come close to recognizing voice.
Yeah.
I know that's what Cortana works. It's what they ship it all up.
And what's the Google one called now? They're always changing the name.
It's still just Google now for right now.
I thought they changed the name again.
They're going to give it a person name this year, but right now it's just Google now.
The other thing I didn't mention in macOS is they're making Siri available in macOS. Has anybody played with that yet? Okay. Well, you don't have to raise your hand, Charles. We know you did it. What was your experience with that?
I don't know if they've opened that up the same way they've done for iOS, but you can. It's pretty. It does a lot. Like I could say, show me photos of my wife, and it will show me like 10 thumbnails of my wife, and if I click any of them, it'll open up the appropriate application. So it does the same natural language stuff that Siri on the phone does. I just don't know how deep it runs yet.
Some of the concerns I've heard about Siri on Mac OS is questioning whether it's going to work offline. Since Siri on iPhone and iPad and iPod Touch require an internet connection, there's a lot of questions if it's going to work offline on on the MacBook.
I could try tomorrow, but I don't want to try it now.
Yeah. The thing about laptops is that you're more likely to be disconnected from the internet than, say, with your phone. So that's something to think about if you're writing apps for it. So let's get into the fun stuff. Stickers. Oof. Yeah, if you didn't have enough emojis, you sure will now. Gosh. Yeah. Well, they've always done Disney stuff, so I imagine they have something going on there. Between the Mickey Mouse animation for the watch face, but there's also Donald Duck, as you can see. If you were missing out on that. Right, so this is the fun way to communicate if you're underneath the age of 16. I don't know. That's kind of 50-50, I think. If you're over the age of 60 or whatever, it's either where is that darn sticker, and then they spend an hour looking for it, or they're just sending you random stickers that you don't know what they mean, and they don't either.
That was like emojis when they started taking off.
Yeah, there was that whole. It didn't start out as poo. What was it originally, like yogurt, chocolate yogurt, or something?
Yeah.
Well, that was what it was supposed to be. There's a lot of internet memes, people posting that, and they're like, get angry at whoever posted, and they're like, isn't that like ice cream or something? And they're like, no. So you will be able to create sticker apps. I don't know if they're called sticker apps. That just seems like a bad name. You don't have to code anything to have a sticker app. So if you have an artistic talent and you have Xcode, you can create a sticker app. I wouldn't recommend stealing a bunch of photos off the internet and putting it in a sticker app. That's a good way to get sued or get kicked off the Apple Store. So you do have to have something like original content or the rights to sell it. So just like any other app. Though you can customize it with code and do some coding in there. By default, if you create the sticker app in Xcode, it does not include any code. So you just get a folder, you put some images in it. It's pretty easy. Here comes the fun part. So they've updated iMessage and made it open. They've also added a bunch of things that you can do with Message, and I'm going to show you some of it right now. Or we're going to show you a bunch of it right now. So here we go. I need to turn on Apple Share again. Or Apple Play. Hold on. All right. So, yeah, they've got different apps that you can swipe between to do different things with. The code, well, we'll discuss how it works in a little bit. They also added this little sketch thing. Do you remember what it's called?
Digital touch.
Digital touch. So I can draw things like hello or hi. It doesn't really fit much. I cannot landscape it. If I'm in an app, though, I can landscape it. Okay, this worked earlier. Remember, this is beta bit, so if it doesn't work right, you can do things like add video to your drawings. And send that. And this works in iMessage. One of the things to remember about this is that this is for the iPhone only. The watchOS will show you the content, but you can't create any of this in watchOS or on the iMessage app in macOS. One of the other things they did is content preview. So if you were to share something from the web, which this is how to create a Raspberry Pi Alexa voice service. Charles. So I can share the URL. And I can send it and give it a second. It's thinking about it. Yeah, Trump. Okay. It'll show a preview of the page here in a second. There we go. Got rid of Trump. Thank you. So it does have some preview for like the web sharing URLs. The other thing, in addition to like drawing stuff, you can send with effect. So I can slam it. There we go. And there's problem with doing this demo is I have to have push notifications on. All right. Oops. So you hold the button, it pops these options up, and you can do like invisible ink.
Want me to send you one?
Yeah, why don't you send it? So I can, if somebody's looking over my shoulder, it doesn't show what's there. I guess that's the purpose of this. And then I can just uncover it. The other thing, oops. The other thing is you can have a screen effect. And they only have the balloons right now. Dang it. There's supposed to be fireworks, isn't there? How do I get the fireworks?
Swipe. Just continue to swipe up and right. They need to improve that. So yeah.
Screen?
Then swipe left. All right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They got like confetti and lasers and fireworks and shooting star. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem very intuitive. I guess these young people, I never thought I would say that. Stop messaging me. Okay. What? Nope. All right, hold on a second. I'm going to pause this. No, I'm not. Okay. So it even comes with music. Yeah.
You have to have an iPhone to see that?
You do have to have an iPhone to see that. Stop it. Okay. I'm going to hide this for a second. Okay. All right. So back to the party. I don't know. I don't know what Apple's thinking. Sometimes I think they took a bunch of fireworks and put it in a small rubber container and exploded them, and that's what their new iMessage stuff is. I don't know. There is some cool examples on their website of what people are doing with iMessage app, like being able to send money through messaging is a pretty neat thing. Right now, all they have available is some like handwriting and some images. This is called Classic Apple. You can send some music. So if I wanted to send somebody some music, and then they have images, which are stickers. I don't remember what this one is. It's pre-installed with the beta. This is Giphy. I was a little hesitant to present this one in front of everybody, but you just click it and bam. So basically you're creating the UI here. Oh, and they do have GIF support now. I don't know if they had it before, but they seem to make like a big deal out of it at the keynote. So what you're doing is you're creating the content UI here. If they don't have the app installed, it shows them a preview. When they click it, it will take them to the App Store and allow them to install the app, and then they can interact with it. Yeah, that's just, I don't know. Apple used to be really classy. I kind of wonder. Well, let's see, what else can we add? Oh, we still have all the other stuff.
You can send your heartbeat.
Yeah, you can send your heart. Well, you could already do that with the Apple Watch, but now you can do it through the iPhone.
They showed examples of like interactive games happening inside of iMessage. Both people have the game.
Okay.
So I guess I don't know.
Here's one of the ones that I was talking about. If it shows up, there we go. Being able to send money through iMessage. Keep in mind that iMessage only works on the iPhone. It doesn't work on Android. So if somebody has the green bubble, and yeah, I've heard of green bubble shaming. That seems to be a thing where they shame other people that don't have an iPhone or don't use iMessage on the iPhone. Okay. Yeah, like I said, that the iMessage apps will only run on iOS 10. The content will be received on watchOS and macOS. So if you're using iMessage on there, you can see the content, and you can send recent stickers from watchOS. So if you used a sticker recently, you can send it in watchOS. The other important thing is that you can, unlike watchOS apps, you don't have to have a containing app. So you can have a separate app that just does the message app part. You don't have to have an app that runs on the on the screen. So it just runs an iMessage. If you do want to have the app in the main app store, you have to have a containing app. And it must have an icon whether it has a containing app or not. Where's my mouse? Nope, that's not what I wanted. Get my mouse back. Okay. There's one other thing I wanted to show you. Okay. If you can see down here at the bottom, really tiny. Scroll in. These are like the different tabs. So you can swipe between the apps. But at the bottom left, there's the option to switch between the apps, and it shows you what the apps are. Oops, I should zoom out. So you have recent, but if you want to go to the Message App Store, where if you have a message app, this is where you would find a message app that doesn't have a containing app. And you can install new ones. So this is its own app store. Does anybody have any ideas what they might use the iMessages for? iMessage apps for? No? Okay. All right. So this is the more useful one, I thought, the map extension. So Apple did a makeover on the whole map app. It's much, much better. Before, I thought it was really awkward if you're driving and you wanted to quickly glance at the app and see where you are or where your next turn is. Unless you had CarPlay, it was kind of useless because it's itty bitty text. And if you wanted to stop it, especially if you'd like, were stopping at like a gas station or you knew the rest of the way or whatever, the end was at the top left. So if you hold your phone like this, it's like the hardest button to push unless you do the little thing where you make the screen come down, right? So it was really annoying. They've re-engineered it to make it actually useful. No, gotta end the slide. So if I wanted to get directions, let's think of something besides my house, because I don't want everybody knowing where I'm at. Let's get some drinks. Let's go to where's the flying saucer? Come on.
How about bars? If you go back, there's a bars option.
Oh. As you can notice, the text is a lot bigger on everything. And let's not walk there. How do we not walk?
Just click on direction.
Yeah, there we go. I can switch to drive. I don't know if you'd ever messed with the maps before, but you'd like click on a location and then there was like a cell and a table view, and you had to click directions on the directions text, which is on the left side of the screen, which is like equivalent to like right there. That was really annoying. I mean, like the whole cell went across, right? You should be able to click anywhere on that row, right? You had to click on the directions. But now they've got a big green button, which is really close. I guess if you're left-handed, you're kind of out of luck, but But there we go.
Starting route to Flying Saucer Draft Emporium. Head southeast on Dallas Parkway.
Let's load the UI. Oh, come on. Where's the text? Okay, now I look really silly. But like the text here on the top, you can actually read it easily. I don't know, they seem really too small for me. You get actual information right here. Why is this not loading?
Head southeast on Dallas Parkway.
You can actually move the map and look. Before, if you tried to like swipe or move or anything, it would bounce you back to where you were. And that really wasn't useful if you wanted to like see where your turn was in ahead. Like say you're at a stoplight and you wanted to look and see where your next turn is, or, look at some other information. Yeah, I think they took a lesson from the Windows Phone and Android on directions, and I've made some big improvements. And I can also see the roads that I'm going to go across. So, I know where I'm at as I'm driving and what road I'm supposed to be on. Now, I will fault it. I did use the Apple Map directions to get here today, and it sent me on the wrong way. So they still need to work on that, but they've improved it a lot. Which is cool. That really isn't so much applicable to developers as iPhone users in general. The big news as far as developers come, they've opened up the map extensions, which allows you to add your own UI app sections to the maps, which is really cool. So like Lyft or Uber, you could possibly book reservations or something like that through OpenTable or however you want to extend maps. Sorry. So, are there any questions about
So
that?
you just put a little button on there and then click that and go into your own extension.
So, so I went back to research map extensions, right? And it's announced in the keynote, and they go over it some, but they didn't have any sessions on map extensions. So I don't know exactly how it's going to work. They had a lot of API documentation. I didn't dig too deep into that, unfortunately. It does look promising, though. So Map's got a huge overhaul, and it's gonna be open up to developers to extend it. So it's not like you're gonna go and you like write an app for a restaurant, a specific restaurant, and want to add something just for that restaurant. It's gonna be like OpenTable or Lyft or something like that involving maps. And maybe you could do something like tour guide or something like that that has like tours built into the map app and provides useful information about specific locations or something like that. So
It says track, so maybe I could tell you which Pokemon are at your location you're going to.
yeah, maybe Pokemon Go could actually write a decent app.
It's Nintendo.
Actually, it's more of server side that's the problem. But I don't understand how that app survives, because they tell everybody that writes an app, if your app doesn't respond in the first 3 seconds of being open, that your app is not going to be used or it will be uninstalled, one of the two. Yeah, Pokemon Go has a big problem with that. Yet it's so popular. That's a really neat idea, but all right. So CallKit. So there's two pieces to this. VoIP is now a first-class citizen on iPhone. Before it was either your phone provider like AT&T, your regular phone calls, and FaceTime, right? And Skype and Slack and all those others kind of had some API stuff where it had the little the bar at the top so you could go back to your call and you could have it running a VoIP call while you were in other apps. But now it's actually being treated like a real phone call, which it is. So that's coming, which is has anybody dealt with VoIP before besides me? No. So not too many people are going to use it as developers unless you're like Slack or Skype or. But as far as a user, I think it shows that Apple is becoming much more open and realizing that they can't just dictate everything to everybody. The other piece of this is that you're going to be able to trigger apps based off of incoming phone calls. One of the ideas, can I share this, Charles? Okay. One of the ideas is that you could use with this is, say you wanted, actually somebody's already started writing this app, is that you could have a like spam caller list, and it could alert you that this is a spam caller and you don't want to take their phone call, or have them ignore the phone, have the phone ignore those phone calls, and you have this list in a API or something, or in a database, or however you want to access it, and you would get notified whether this is a spam caller and know right there on the phone before you even pick it up. So the other potentials, ideas for the call kit is it's like CRMs or something like that, where if you're getting a call from a customer, you would have their information displayed on the screen, maybe like, upcoming appointments with them, or, different information that comes out of your CRM that could be right there on your screen before you even pick up. There's a lot of potential in that. So if that's all I had to present on WWDC, I did try to get the Xamarin Bits working with iOS 10. They are working on an X. Let's come back to this. Hello, computer. I should find out the shortcut for that. So if you're wanting to look at the Xamarin Bits, they do have a branch for this. It's Xcode 8. They're firing away at getting this done. And will be a Xamarin iOS version 10. I tried compiling it and running it. I got it compiling a few times, but then it didn't agree with Xamarin Studio, so I wasn't able to come up with any demos for today. I did spend a lot of time on that, unfortunately. You do have to download, which is available, the Xcode 8 beta. They're on version 3 if you've already downloaded it. They also have iOS 10 beta, which they've really improved how you install it. Before, you had to like wipe the phone and then download an image and then restore it to the phone, but now they have a certificate that you just open on your phone, and then you go to settings, general system updates, and suddenly iOS 10 beta 3 is available, which is a lot easier than what it used to be, where you have to like restore your phone with this image, then you have to restore your backup, and then you have to cross your fingers to make sure all your data got there. Yeah, hello. Has anybody played with the beta before besides Charles? No. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I've had a lot of bad history with it. Yeah, now it doesn't want to behave. Okay. Prove me wrong, Apple. I see how it is. God. Before in the past, when I've updated, I've bricked it a few times. So, yeah, it took me several hours to fix it. Hello. One of the things I noticed in 10 is before I just put my finger over the Touch ID and it would, oh, now it wants to prove me wrong.
just like that.
And it would unlock. Well, I guess it fixed itself. But before I had to like push the home key, right? Damn it. Okay, now it's just being mean to me.
I don't
God.
like data on my phone. He tries to put it on my phone. I won't let him anymore.
Okay. Well, apparently I was wrong. Ignore what I just said. The other.
Yeah, he can try it on his phone, not my phone.
The other cool thing that they've added is they made it a lot easier to get to camera. You just swipe to the left. Before you had to like swipe up from the bottom right. That was really kind of awkward sometimes, especially when you wanted to get a quick photo. This seems to work a lot better. You just click the home key and then swipe left if it doesn't unlock first. Hello, come on.
Probably doesn't like AirPlay either.
Yeah, it doesn't like AirPlay. I think I just killed my phone.
I was going to say, you had AirPlay running for a good while now. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe there's like a really weird bug in it where running it this long in beta state may cause an issue.
Okay. Let's try this again. You can also access, what is this called?
Widgets?
Widget. Well, this is different. So this is widgets. I guess it has search.
No, those are notifications. So Spotlight is more available. Spotlight's available from the lock screen.
Yeah, but this is different than just widgets.
It's going to become more than just widgets.
Is this called Spotlight?
So that search thing on the top, that's Spotlight. So they put widgets in the Spotlight view, but then they're also apparently your widgets can show up based off of events that may be happening. So if you have like a calendar event set up,
Mm-hmm.
the calendar widget would only show up on your lock screen within a certain window of time.
So yeah, they've updated it so that you can swipe left to do that, and then you can. Now it does it. See, it says I have to press home to open. Before it made me just, or it let me just open it with the Touch ID, which was what it used to be able to do. So I don't know what the deal is with that. They've improved the cannot remember for the life of me all these terms. What is the term for this?
Control center.
Control center. So they've updated Control Center, right, with the ability.
I think you may be able to create a sheet for that as well in iOS 10.
Charles thinks we can create a sheet for that. I don't know.
At home, when we're at home, there is a home sheet that lets me control.
So that's the HomeKit piece. So they also have a HomeKit piece. So they've added 3 new types of devices for HomeKit, which is door locks, garage doors, and air conditioning.
Doorbells.
Doorbells.
So it's doorbells, door locks, and then they put the garage door.
Somebody was saying they added air conditioning, but I guess they already had that.
Yeah.
And they've also cleaned up the Control Center itself. So, and if you're not familiar with HomeKit, HomeKit's Apple's way of controlling devices. It's supposed to be more secure. It requires hardware encryption, which the advantage of HomeKit is that you can do like IFTT, but you can also control it from your Control Center instead of having to go into like each individual app to like your lock app or your home alarm app or your garage door app, which at some point it's just easier to go push the button than open the app and get to the right page, right? One of the neat ideas someone suggested is that you can set up a rule that if you enter like geofencing for your house, then your garage door opens, like if you drive up in your car, or like it turns on the lights for you or something like that, which is really cool. I don't know. I don't have any HomeKit devices. Maybe someday. They also updated news. Okay, which is not an app I like opening very often. And one of the biggest features I think that they added is that you can, and I'm using air quotes here, uninstall the Apple app. So, you know, if I don't like the default weather app, I can remove it. Now, there's certain apps I can't remove, like camera, which is kind of a good thing, I guess, or the clock. Though, interestingly enough, I can't remove Safari. They don't, from what I've been told, is they don't actually remove the app. It just removes the icon. Can I remove tips? Where's tips?
It's an extras.
Isn't that an extras? I can remove tips. Hooray! I don't know if you've dealt with tips, but it's a really annoying notification every once in a while. You get, here's how to do blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I knew how to do blah, blah, blah a long time ago. Stop bothering me. Especially when I get my notification on my band. It's like, really? I didn't need that notification. Thank you. So that's pretty much it for my presentation.
Sean, what is IFTT?
If,
This, then that.
yeah. If you have any questions, if you'd like to present, if you want to know more about this user group or Infinity Interactive, you can email me at the address above, or you can tweet me. Do you mind if I invite? You want in the broadcast?